Hey everyone, it's Melissa from Being the Bear Backyard Homestead here in the Central Valley of California, Zone 9B. It's been a minute. It's been a busy time. School started and, we've just been trying to get stuff ready, pull stuff out, and to get the garden ready for the fall garden and winter garden. And then we all got COVID, well, except for Madison. And because she already had it this year, but anyways. So it's just been a crazy, August was crazy, and this month has been crazy too, but I'm here. I'm just gonna do a short overview of the September garden, what's going on, and the plants. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So the weeds have been my constant struggle this year, just a lot. But cactuses are doing good, succulents doing good. So we'll go ahead and give them some water, and then I'll be back. So last week when we all had COVID, Seamus had to go into the hospital because he's immune compromised, and so his rheumatologist decided it would be good for him to go into the hospital, even though he did not have a fever or any symptoms anymore. He was actually getting over. But she wanted him to have this IV. She said it was the only thing available, but the nurses told me that there was other stuff available when we were there in the hospital. And we actually ended up leaving early because I was like, this is pointless. And I was really sick. And so I was like, I need to be at home resting. But anyways, so we were there Wednesday through Friday, and nobody watered. And so a lot of my squash and pumpkins died. I was really sad because this butternut squash was doing so good, but and I had a few others, but since I wasn't here to water and John was sick and Madison was just trying to keep up with the dogs and go to school, that nobody came out and watered, and so my corn kind of died back, which is fine. It wasn't growing that well anyway, but I was really sad about my squash and pumpkins. So anyways, that's just the update. And then after I water over here, because if you can see, I have sweet potatoes and a few pumpkin plants still trying, or squash plants trying. But yeah, the sweet potatoes are doing really well. They've come back. They were kind of trying to dry up too, but I've been consistently watering them every day and they've come back. So that's a good thing. So anyways, I'm going to water this side and then I'll tell you about the other side. Alright, so over here, it's where my calendula was growing, and then I still have, there is a artichoke that survived and is coming back, and then I also have this gourd. I don't know if anything's going to happen on it, but I'm just watering it, keeping it up. And then I also planted, as you can see right here, I planted some radishes a few weeks ago, and only this came up, so I went ahead and planted more, and I planted some beets, so we're just waiting for that stuff to come up. And then I'm pretty sure right here, this is a potato from last year. I don't know, I'm just gonna let it go and see what happens. But yeah, I did cut back the calendula and it's starting to come back and get green and stuff, so that's good. And you can see my sweet potatoes. Things are looking good. What I'm gonna do is pull out all this corn, use it as decorations for my front porch, and then I'm going to plant more root vegetables in here, like some rutabagas, some turnips, and more beets, carrots, parsnips, that kind of stuff. And this is where all that's going to be, is in this bed as soon as I pull out all this other stuff. Although I hate to pull out the sunflowers because they're just so pretty. Anyways, so that's the plan for this garden bed. This garden bed is, pretty done. What I'm going to do for next year is, of course, do more sunflowers, but I'm also going to try doing more herbs again. You can see the yarrow hasn't completely died. It's still in there. I don't know if my elderberries are going to come back or not. I think that they're pretty done. Yeah, they're like just sticks. So I've been trying to water them in hopes that they would come back, but I'm not sure. So we'll just have to see how this winter goes and see if they come back or not. So So here's some parsley that is coming back from last year. It's starting to cool off a little bit, so it's finally coming back. And then my calendula that was over here, I need to cut it back so it can grow back better, but yeah, it's starting to get green and starting to produce sunflowers, so that's good. Over here is my lavender, and there's also hiding in here is some curly parsley, so that's fun. Some of my lavender has died, and that's okay. I'm gonna try and get some more. Fresno State's gonna have their big plant sale, fall plant sale next month, so I'm hoping to go to that. Over here, my raspberries, my blackberries that I transplanted are doing good. Again, you know, we have weed issues, so that's just how it is around here. Some sunflowers. Here's my Granny Smith apple tree. It's getting bigger. Sorry. And looking pretty good. Some amaranth that's still holding on. My blackberry here, or not blackberry, blueberry. The leaves are starting to change already. Here's the other blackberry. This is the one that I just planted this year. Figs are looking good, starting to not produce as much. Here's my ghost apple. If you remember from earlier videos, we did get some ghost apples this year. Oh, some leaves are starting to change. So that's good. This tree is getting bigger. It's doing really well. And so I'm happy with that. And next year, hopefully we'll get some more ghost apples. And maybe next year we'll get some Granny Smiths. Here's my other raspberry that I propagated this year. It's doing really good. This is the OG raspberry. Eventually I'm gonna cut all this back and stuff and get it ready for next year. Sorry, I'm still losing my voice. Still a little sick from the COVID. It likes to linger. Here's our other fig. This one didn't really do too much this year. Didn't really get a whole lot of figs from it. And that's okay. You know, we all have our bad years, or our off years. There you go. Not a bad year, off year. It still looks beautiful. Here's our other blueberry. It's getting bigger. It's gonna get taken out by this raspberry though, so I need to do something about that. I might move these to the back fence, the two blueberries, over the winter. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Here is our guava, and we didn't get any guavas this year as well. And but this tree is thriving and doing good and getting bigger, and has a lot of suckers. I think that might be part of the problem, is that it was too busy putting out suckers and not producing fruit this year. That's okay. It's all right. Next year, hopefully. And then here's our OG blackberry, the one that, you know, we thought the dogs had destroyed, but it's come back. I was really hoping that maybe we would get like a fall harvest of blackberries and raspberries, like it might blossom again, but I don't think it's going to. This has been a very different summer and a very interesting fall, and I'm not complaining about it. So anyways, hopefully you can still hear me over the sprinkler and the hose. My neighbor's sprinkler is broken over here, and it's in our yard, and then I'm spraying the trees right now. Anyways, here is one of our cherry trees. Leaves are starting to change. It's getting ready to go dormant, and I'm really hoping we got some pretty good cherries this year, like more than we were expecting. And so I'm hoping that this tree is going to do well. And then this monster over here did really well this year. We are definitely going to have to trim it back over the winter and get it ready for next year. But we had a massive harvest from this tree, and we were really happy about it this year. That's great. It's the first really big harvest from this plum tree. Another big harvest. This fig tree was crazy prolific this year. Like, we got a lot of figs. I made so much fig jam. Unfortunately, I didn't save any, like I didn't freeze any this year. That's okay, but it was pretty prolific, and we ate our fill of figs for sure. So we were very thankful for that. Over here is our mandarins. They're getting big. They're looking really good. Those trees produced a lot this year, more than last year for sure. We're definitely coming in, you know, they're 3 years old at least, so they're really starting to produce now, which is awesome. This one over here, this one's only like a year, 2 years, I think 2 years old, and so we're just happy it's growing, you know, and we'll see, maybe next year we'll get some blood oranges from it. I'm just glad that it's growing. And then over here, I've already picked like 10 limes, and there's still quite a few on here, so I've been just picking them when we need them in the house, and that's been awesome because I haven't had to buy any limes, and it's nice to have my own limes that I know, you know, how they've grown and everything, and I know that, you know, they're as organic as I can possibly get them, so that's pretty awesome. Here is our grapefruit. They're getting big. I'm excited for grapefruit. The tree's looking really good, and all those grapefruit, pretty awesome. I'm hoping that these taste good and they're sweet and they're just good and healthy for our bodies. Here's the other side of the grapefruit, and you can see one is starting to change colors. That's exciting. Over here we have the lemons, and the lemon has like been crazy this year. I'm super excited about it. I think I might have been watering it a little bit too much because we've had some split, but they're starting to turn yellow, so I'm pretty happy about that, and I can't wait for lemons. I think that we'll probably end up giving some away, and then I think I'm going to juice some too and freeze the juice so that we can have some, you know, next year when we don't have any lemons while they're growing. My pomegranates, I'm so excited. They look so beautiful. I'm really hoping that those bugs did not ruin them and that they are good and delicious. But just look how red they are. They're so beautiful. Please be good. Please be good. They should be ready to harvest next month. Usually when they start splitting is when you know that they're ready to go. So I can't wait. I've been watching them to see if they're ready yet. And I can't wait for pomegranate seeds and then make pomegranate juice, and they're just beautiful. I just can't get over it. Here's our candy heart plum. It really grew a lot this year. It's got really tall this year. It's looking good. Leaves are starting to change, and hopefully next year will be just as good. And this is usually our first one to blossom, and so I'm hoping that this next year we won't have a storm that'll knock off all the blossoms, and then this one will produce more like the first year that it produced than it did this year. It had so many blossoms, it looked like it was really going to have a good year, and then we had that storm that knocked them all off. And then, you know, we still did get probably like 20 from here, which is pretty good, you know, for a tree that's less than 3 years old. We were happy with, you know, whatever we could get after that storm. So, you know, we had a pretty prolific winter rain season last year, and so we're hoping that we'll get rain and we'll be on average, you know, maybe a little above average, but maybe not like last year. But beggars can't be choosers, right? So here is our last tree, is the other cherry tree, and as you can see, the leaves are starting to change on here too. So hopefully it has a good snooze for the winter, and then comes back in the spring and has a lot of blossoms, and we'll have a lot of cherries, I hope. Between the two cherry trees, I'm hoping that we'll have a good cherry season. So this is where most of the work that I did in August happened. August and the beginning of September, I was trying to get these beds ready so that they can be planted next month. So what I did is I pulled out all the weeds, and then I took some of the chicken mulch from our chicken house, our coop. We no longer have chickens, so I just took all the bedding out and went ahead and put it on these beds to keep the weeds down and to kind of amend them, get them ready for all my fall things that I'm gonna be planting. And in this far bed over here, I just used chicken bedding that hadn't been with the chickens. It was all fresh out of the bag. And I planted the garlic, and then I covered it so that it'll be ready for growing over the winter time. As you can see, here's my Malabar spinach. It's trying. This one over here is better. Looks better. Really doing good. The other one's struggling. And my grapevines will be dying back here soon, so I'll trim those up, get those ready for the spring, and hopefully we'll get some grapes this year. Here's my oregano. Needs some water. This one over here died. And then more grapevines, so hopefully next year we'll get some grapes. That would be wonderful. So here's a few things that I saved from the last garden. I had some basil that I saved, and I have the purple basil over here. It's coming back. And so 2 pepper plants that have actually looked the best right now that they have all season long. I think it was just too weedy in here and they were just struggling, but they seem to be doing pretty well now. So, and then I have another basil over here. So a few things from the summer garden that I saved, wasn't ready to let go of, and they seem to be thriving right now, so that's good. Anyway, thanks for hanging out on this short video, just to give you a little update, garden tour for September, and what's the hopes and the dreams. And I'm going to be planting seeds here soon, and just trying to get back in track, get back into the groove after everybody being sick, and trying to get, you know, back in the school mode and everything. So hopefully you guys will see a good video in October. I'll be going to the fall plant store sale at Fresno State, hopefully. I was supposed to go to the Seed Expo last week in Ventura, but we all had COVID, so I didn't get to go, and I was really bummed because I bought those tickets back in November and I was really excited, and I didn't get to use them, and I was really sad. But I was able to get our hotels refunded, so that was good, but still sad. And but I'm really hopeful that I can go to the plant sale next month and get some good plants. And I have things that I'm thinking about. I'm going to start writing it down, and then I'll share that with you guys, and I'll try to do some video while I'm there at the plant sale. So anyways, I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. Bye.